Mini Lesson 9. Stories have conflict or tension. Readers of fiction notice that characters in the stories they read often encounter some sort of conflict or problem. The world of the stories often revolves around how the characters react and resolve the problem. Today, we are going to read a historical fiction story titled The Last Bicycle and identify the conflict and the type of conflict the characters face. The types of conflict in fiction, now we have talked about this before, where there's external conflict. That means external conflict is between a character and an outside force, such as person versus person, person versus nature, person versus society, and the one that's not listed in here is person versus technology. Then there's internal conflict. An internal conflict is between a character and him or herself. The character's struggle may take place in his or her own mind. This type of conflict usually has something to do with making a choice between right and wrong, or with overcoming emotions or mixed feelings. And this type of conflict is person versus self. Now, you can have more than one type of conflict in a story. You can have person versus person, which affects the next type of conflict, which is internal conflict, person versus self. So these conflicts can go hand in hand with each other. So we are going to see, and as we read our story, we're going to identify the type of conflict and why it's important in helping us understand the central message of the story. So sometimes when we identify the conflict that the character is facing, we can probably come up with the theme. So before we go on to our story, let's understand more about these different types of conflicts by watching different movie clips explaining it to us.
Oh, what about that? Wow, Carl's! Dance fight!
Mother would be so furious. But that's okay. I mean, what she doesn't know won't kill her, right? Oh my gosh. This would kill her. This is so fun! I am a horrible daughter. I'm going back. I am never going back! I am a despicable human being. Best day ever!
You know, I can't help but notice you seem a little at war with yourself here.
What?
Now, I'm only picking up bits and pieces, of course. Overprotective mother, forbidden road trip. I mean, this is serious stuff. But let me ease your conscience. This is part of growing up. A little rebellion, a little adventure, that's good. Healthy, even.
You think?
I know. You're way overthinking this, trust me. Does your mother deserve it? No. Would this break her heart and crush her soul? Of course. But you've just got to do it.
Break her heart?
In half.
Crush her soul?
Like a grape.
She would be heartbroken, you're right.
I am. aren't I? Oh, bother. All right. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm letting you out of the deal.
In the season of our uncertainty, in the heat of the moment, one woman defined what America stood for.
I came here to register. You didn't pass. What? As a U.S. citizen, I have a right to vote, and no person can keep me from that right.
Are you a member?
Member.
Of the NAACP? That's us.
Well, you want my approval? Stick your neck out with a bunch of cowards down at the NAACP.
For the first time in my life, I feel like I can help.
They're using you, Rosa. Can't you see it?
Yes, I do see it, and I don't mind.
Well, I mind.
Well, let me have those front seats. I said, what do you think you're doing?
Do not put your hands on me.
You are unwise to lower your defenses.
There is a mystery. Elusive. Unpredictable. Violent. It terrifies most scientists. But for a new breed, the challenge is saving lives. The research is deadly. The laboratory is nature itself.
And potentially could be a storm that has a winds in excess of 200 Let's assume the worst at this point.
Joe! Bill! It's coming! Everybody underground now! Joe, come on! Get underground! Take cover right now!
So, wow, that was pretty good conflicts that we saw. Very intense. But it really showed us what those type of conflicts are. So here's the historical text that I love by Schoolwide, and it's called The Last Bicycle by Betty Davis. Jock couldn't keep from grinning as he rode his bicycle along the cobblestone road, past the old castle down to the town square. From a mile away, he could hear singing and cheering as the townfolk celebrated the end of Hitler's war. That day, August 26, 1944, Charles de Gaulle marched triumphantly into Paris, and the proud song of La Marseillaise lifted millions of hearts. Jacques could not only grin for France, but also because he had found the last bicycle in town. His friends stopped in their tracks when they saw his bicycle. "Hey, Jacques, where did you get that bike?" Jacques felt a lump in his throat. Then he squeezed out the words, "My brother Felipe hit it really well." The boys fell quiet. Pierre, one of Jacques' schoolmates, said at last, "It's sure a beautiful bike." "Yes, Felipe loved it. Hey, anyone want to ride?" The boys clamored, Me, let me ride it, Jacques." After all, they took turns. Pierre offered, "I'll pay 10 francs for it." Jacques laughed. "It's not for sale. The bicycle was priceless beyond measure." Almost nothing was for sale in Isère. Not bicycles or cars or fuel. Only second-hand clothes or rusty tools. Food was scarce. Edgy, wary of danger, people emerged from their stone cottages and scattered farms. getting used to a world without constant fear. A few shops and an inn opened. Trains ran, carrying mostly troops. But no one forgot the awfulness of war, especially Jacques. 4 years earlier, Felipe had told him, "I heard that in China the enemy torched the building and smashed whatever was left. They'll come here next." Jacques' family hid whatever they could hide in the rubble of the old castle. Jacques and Felipe stashed the bicycle up in the tower. The enemy raided the castle soon after. The bicycle survived, but Felipe, kind, handsome Felipe, went to war for his beloved France and didn't return. For Jacques, nothing would ever be the same, though now he could finally once more breathe the air of freedom. This bicycle really seems to be important to Jacques because it's a reminder of his relationship with his brother, who is now gone. One morning he pedaled along past the vineyards, the scent of newly replanted grapes on the breeze. The French countryside was coming alive. He turned onto the paved highway that led to Paris. Ahead he saw a man in soldier's clothing. Jacques' stomach tightened. Recently there had been rumors that enemy spies still hid in the countryside. Jacques again tasted the bitterness of fear. The uniform, dusty and worn, was not French. The stranger's shoulders hunched under a heavy backpack, straightened as he turned and stared at Jacques, then at the bicycle. Felipe's bicycle. Jacques gripped the handlebars knuckles until his knuckles turned white. Jacques tried to sound normal, unafraid. "Bonjour, monsieur. Comment la voix? I don't speak French. "Bonjour. I'm sorry, but I don't speak French very well," the man answered. Jacques was relieved. "You're an American. Why are you still here?" "I stayed behind to treat small children. I'm an army doctor." "You care for French as well as Americans?" Jacques asked. "Of course. There's been an outbreak of scarlet fever." Jacques could see the exhaustion on the man's face. "I've just come from the train station. I missed the last train to Paris, and now I might lose my place on the ship that will take me back to America." His shoulders drooped. "You see, my father is very ill. I must get home." Then a hopeful spark lit up his eyes. "May I borrow your bicycle, son?" "Borrow? I'd never get it back." The man pulled a gun from his backpack. Jacques drew back. "I'll give you anything. This gun is valuable. I'll trade it for the bicycle." Jacques shook his head. "No guns." So now the conflict has been revealed. Jacques has a decision to make. Help the American army doctor make his way home, or hold on to the bicycle that reminds him so fondly of his beloved brother. Boys and girls, we have reached the climax of this story. We had the exposition, and we have passed the rising action, and now we're at the conflict, at the story, which is the climax. What kind of conflict is he facing? What kind of internal, external? Try to see if you could figure it out. But Jacques saw the desperation in the man's eyes. He remembered the American boys had died alongside Felipe. America helped liberate France. But Felipe's bicycle? Did Jacques owe it to this man? Jacques slowly relaxed his grip. Then, as if it had a life of its own, the bicycle was suddenly in the hands of the American. "You'll not be sorry, I promise. I'll send you an even nicer bicycle from Texas." The American looked at the identification on the handlebars. "Thank you, Felipe Dupont. With all my heart, I thank you." He said as he jumped on the bicycle, pedaling away. "My name is Jacques," the boy called after him. The doctor turned back and nodded. Jacques watched him grow smaller and smaller as he cycled up the road. When his friends heard what Jacques had done, they yelled at him. "Jacques, you're crazy! You gave away the last bicycle in town!" Day after day, month after month, Jacques waited for the promised bicycle. Always the station master shook his head. Slowly, User found its way back to an ordinary life. Trains once again arrived on time. Food, clothes, books, even an old car could be bought. But no bicycles. Then one spring day when the fields were blooming, with the fleurs de colza that looked like sunshine, Jacques heard the whistle of a train. As he walked by the station master called out, "Viens vite! Jacques, look! Come, look!" When Jacques saw the shiny new bicycle, he felt joy bursting inside him. He had been right to trust the doctor. With his hands on the handlebars, he grinned and claimed his prize. Ready to zoom away, he put his foot on a pedal. But the station master stopped him. "Wait, Jacques, you must sign for the rest." "The rest?" Jacques scratched his head in puzzlement. "Yes, indeed," the station master said, handing Jacques an official paper to sign. He gestured to Jacques to follow him toward the boxcar, joined by the assistant station master and ticket clerk. Then Jacques' jaw dropped as the men began uploading 99 shiny new bicycles from the train. And the station master handed Jacques a note. "To Jacques Dupont, for you and your friends in User, 100 thanks. Your grateful American friend, Stephen L., M.D." "Thanks, Doc," Jacques whispered. "And Felipe, merci beaucoup." Wow. If you notice, he wrote 100 thanks, and he gave him 100 bicycles. That is pretty amazing. I love that story. All right, today you're going to create a story mountain and find the different types of conflicts that are in your reads today. And if you want, as a group, you can create the story mountain on your whiteboards. I will come around and take pictures of your completed story mountains. And then in your fiction notebooks, create a graphic organizer, your creative graphic organizer that describes the kind of conflict in the story and evidence from the story to support it. All right, get into your groups, get those reads out, and create some amazing mountains.